The Miami Marlins have got past the wild card round, sweeping the Los Angeles Dodgers, but now we've got the biggest challenge that we have had yet in this entire series. The Atlanta Braves in the NLDS in a best-of-5 to keep the season alive. In the last episode, we went through the wild card round, beating the Dodgers in the first two games, not even needing a Game 3. But it's going to get quite a bit harder as we face off against the Braves, who won an MLB best 99 games. They had the second best team on paper in all of baseball. Their lineup is loaded. Pete Alonso, Ronald Acuna, Michael Harris, Austin Riley, Ozzie Albies, Matt Olson. I mean, the team is stacked, and their pitching is not much worse, with Spencer Strider and Kyle Wright leading the way. Ian Anderson's a good number 3. However, the rest of the pitching seems to be this team's kryptonite. The bullpen is subpar, the back end of the rotation is not great, and that's where we're going to really need to attack them. So if we can play well early against these good starters, I think that'd be a big deal. We will be making one change to the playoff roster. For the wild card series, I wanted more bats on the roster, but now I want more pitching. Max Meyer will come up, while Kevin Alcantara, who was not used in either of the wild card wins, will be removed from the playoff roster. For now, we're going to rock with a 4-man rotation. Tarik Skubal's pitching in this first game. Yuri Perez will pitch in the second game. And then I think from there, we're going to flip back to the top with Cabrera and Sandy. So let's hop into this first game. We'll be playing games 1 and 2 on the road in Atlanta. The Braves have a big home field advantage, especially in the month of October, and this is going to be a real challenge for us as we have to beat the best team in the league in a 5-game series. But I do think we are equipped to do it. In the 4 series that these two teams had in the regular season, the Marlins won 3 of them. Their most recent 2 series were in August, and the Braves played quite a bit better, winning most of those games, 5 of 7. But overall, the Marlins have had the upper hand on Atlanta throughout the year, and I'm curious to see if that carries into the playoffs. Since the Braves won the World Series in 2021, they have been consistently really good, but they have struggled in the postseason, and we're hoping that'll stick today. Spencer Strider, the ace of the staff, getting the start here in Game 1 for Atlanta. 3.77 ERA, 1.23 whip, and 209 strikeouts in 33 starts for the former Clemson Tiger. Luis Arraez leads things off. He'll take his base with a walk. Good start. Accumulate base runners early. Jazz Chisholm is up now with the runner on and 1 away. Jazz lines this one high and deep into right center field. Back at the track, at the wall. It's caught. I thought that one had enough carry, but it does not quite have enough reach to get over the fence. Good work by the Atlanta defense to make the play, and that'll bring up Woody Landry. Georgia native, grew up a big Braves fan as a kid, strikes out on the 99-mile-an-hour fastball as Strider makes it through the first, only allowing the 1 walk. Let's take a look at Tarik Skubal, who was the Marlins' big addition this year at the trade deadline. Really has not pitched all that well since being acquired. We've pitched in-game with Skubal once. That, ironically, was here in Atlanta, and he did not pitch very well. The Marlins still won that game because the offense dominated, but you can't expect that against Spencer Strider. Kyle Farmer gets the offense going here for Atlanta with an early base hit. And with Farmer aboard, that brings up the heart of the order, starting with Ronald Acuna Jr., who grounds it to short. Bichette to Arraez to Woody. 6-4-3, inning-ending double play. Good work by the infield to turn 2, as we are still scoreless going into the second. Jesus Sanchez was one of the few Marlins without a hit in the series against the Dodgers. He strikes out. Sanchez did reach base 3 times in those 2 games with walks, however, still productive offensively. Nick Fortes now goes down looking on the fastball. Good start for Spencer Strider. 2 no-hit innings for the big righty as we go bottom 2. Big meat Pete Alonso gets things rolling quickly with a base hit into right. Pete Alonso hit a major league leading 52 home runs in the regular season. We know he is a dangerous bat offensively. So is Austin Riley, who draws a walk, taking his base, and the Braves open up the inning with 2 aboard for Ozzie Albies, who lines it to first. Woody gets the 1 out. He cannot get Riley at second, though. The Marlins were hoping for the double play. It doesn't happen, and now there's 2 runners in scoring position for Matt Olson. Little lefty on lefty crime. Olson launches it into right, and the Braves lead it 3-0. Olson with a 403-foot nuke. Big start to the postseason for the Braves as they are ahead 3-0. Just what Atlanta needed to get the game started. A huge homer from Olson. That'll bring up the talented catcher Sean Murphy. He draws a walk. Tarek Skubal really looking rough here in the second inning. Now against Jake Fraley. He strikes out on the fastball. Tarek Skubal needed that one pretty badly. We'll see if he can wrap up the inning here against Jose Miranda. Checks his swing. Umpire says he went around. So that'll wrap up the second. Big inning for Atlanta. They drive in 3 off the homer by Matt Olson. 3-0 ball game going into the third. It's been much of the same so far for Spencer Strider, who still is not allowed a hit. Luis Arraez, broken bat, pop fly. Strider is cooking so far. 3 innings, just 1 base runner allowed. Into the bottom of the third. The hits are going to keep on coming for Atlanta. Kyle Farmer with his second hit of the game, a single into left field. And the Braves open up the inning once again with a base runner. That'll bring up Ronald Acuna Jr. He grounds it to first. Woody tags the base. Can he get 2 this time? He does not. The throw is offline. Woody's arm has not really helped him out here much today. He's got a good arm, though. Pete Alonso now hits this one high and deep into center. Jazz at the track at the wall. It is gone! A 2-run blast for Pete Alonso, and the offense is just going to keep on chugging. For the Atlanta Braves, they now lead at 5-0. Alonso hit 52 homers in the regular season, and he gets one here in Game 1 of the NLDS. So far in the early going, this has been a disaster for Tarek Skubal. He does strike out Austin Riley, though, a much-needed punch-out. Now against Ozzie Albies, it's a liner to short, bounces once, and Bo Bichette makes the play. But the Braves look great so far. Strider has not allowed any hits, while Olson and Alonso have each gone deep to put the Braves up big, 5-0 through 3. The Braves look like they really rejuvenated themselves during that little mini bye, if you will, as Brian De La Cruz strikes out. Still tough sledding for the Marlins offense, who still are looking for hit number 1. Jazz Chisholm is up now. He gets a pitch to hit, and he capitalizes, flipping the bat, putting the Marlins on the board. Oh boy, did they need that one. A solo homer for Jazz Chisholm, nearly 109 miles an hour off the bat, 423 feet, and it's now 5-1. The no-hitter and the shutout is dead. Big swing for Jazz Chisholm to hopefully give the Marlins offense some momentum to try to bring them back in the game as a Euro steps into home plate. Big swing for Jazz. Bo Bichette is up now with a full count, 2 away, nobody on. He strikes out on the slider. Spencer Strider through 4 does allow the homer to Jazz Chisholm. But overall, Strider, for the most part, has looked incredible today. We'll see if that homer can give the Marlins some energy, not just offensively, but on the other side of the field as well. Tarek Skubal's got a very short leash as he strikes out Matt Olson, who hit the homer during his last at-bat. Jake Fraley now up with 2 away, and he strikes out going down on the check swing. Big inning for Skubal. Hopefully the Marlins can get another inning out of him. Maybe he can catch a groove late into this start. Into the 5th inning, Jesus Sanchez leads off the inning, lines it into left field. Little Oppo Popo, hit number 2 on the day for the Marlins. And this one will be a double for Jesus Sanchez to kick off the inning. The bottom of the order's due up, but they've got a great opportunity to really get Miami back in the game. 1 away here for the third baseman, Jacob Berry. He's ahead 3-1, looks at the low fastball. Take your base, young man. So now there's 2 aboard for Yandy Diaz. Grounds this one over to second. Albies with a great play, potentially stopping a run from being scored. Now the Marlins can still drive him in here. Luis Arraez is one of the best clutch hitters in baseball. 2 in scoring position, 2 away, and Luis Arraez comes up big. This one will one hop off the wall to score 2. Luis Arraez with a 2 RBI double, and the Marlins are back in the game. They cut the lead in half, Big swing for Luis Arraez as he knocks Strider out of the game. He'll be replaced by Sean Manaea. After that third inning, if you were to tell me that Tarek Skubal lasts longer than Spencer Strider, I would have said you're crazy, but here we are. Brian De La Cruz grounds out to second. That'll wrap up the top of the fifth. Big inning for the Marlins with a 2-run double by Luis Arraez. As we move into the bottom of the fifth with Tarek Skubal still in the game. He will get Joel Miranda to go down looking on the slider. Ever since that home run by Alonso, Skubal has been on fire. He strikes out Kyle Farmer, who had 2 hits to start the game, but now he's got his biggest task of the inning. Ronald Acuna. Skubal at 100 pitches now, finally pitching his best baseball, but he's got to face off against one of the best players in the game, and Acuna flies this one in to left. It will make it to the warning track, but Jesus Sanchez makes the play. With how well Tarek Skubal has pitched since the third inning, is there a chance the Marlins try to get him out for one more inning? It appears he has caught fire. Into the sixth inning, Woody Landry draws a walk. Woody was great in the playoffs last year, albeit that was only 3 games. So far, he has not been so great this year in the playoffs. Again, albeit it's only been not even 3 games. Bo Bichette up the middle. Going to be a tough play for the Braves, and they will turn 2. Ozzie Albies has had a great day defensively at second. And so it is still 5-3 going into the bottom of the sixth. Tarek Skubal will stay in the game. And boy, is that going to be a mistake. Because Pete Alonso squares up a slider and he crushes it for a solo homer. Skubal mislocates the slider and does that backfire. Pete Alonso with his second homer of the game, and it's now 6-3. The Marlins put a little bit too much faith into Skubal after a couple of great innings. And, well, unsurprisingly, they're going to yank him here. 5 innings, 6 earned runs for Tarek Skubal in his postseason debut. He'll be replaced by well-known woman respecter Domingo Germán. He strikes out Austin Riley to get things started. Germán's got himself in a little bit of a hole, though, thanks to Tarek Skubal allowing 3 lawn balls as the Marlins trail by a trio. Matt Olson strikes out. Good work out of the bullpen by Domingo Germán as it is 6-3 going into the 7th. Little lefty-on-lefty crime for Jesus Sanchez as he hits it up the middle for base hit number 2 on the day. We've talked about Sanchez's significant improvements against lefties this year. In the past, he's probably pinch hit for, but now the Marlins trust him, and it's going to capitalize because Nick Fortes crushes this ball into center field. And folks, we are within 1. The Marlins are fully back into it. Fortes sends that one 432 feet. Back-to-back games with homers for Fortes. He went long in Game 2 against the Dodgers, and he does it again here. It's 6-5. The Marlins are fully back in this game. Jacob Berry strikes out on the sinker, though. Manaea still in the game. Interesting strategy as he faces off against Yandy Diaz. He hits this one well into left center field. It will one-hop off the wall for a double. So the tying run is in scoring position with 1 away for the top of the order. What an opportunity for the Marlins. You got to assume we're going to see a pitching change, and that is exactly the case. The rookie, Karsten Kofod, is into the game for Atlanta. The talented lefty had an up-and-down rookie year, but the Braves really like him as potentially their closer of the future. Luis Arraez grounded to short. Farmer makes the play. It does advance the runner. But now the Marlins are going to need a base hit here from Brian De La Cruz, who's not a good clutch hitter, but he has significantly improved in that area throughout the year, hitting .270 with runners in scoring position, one of the higher marks on the team. But he's going to ground out to third, and the Marlins do not get the tying run across, but they do drive in 2 with the homer by Nick Fortes. Bottom 7, Germán still in the game as Murphy lines it to first. Good play by Woody Landry for out number 1. Jake Fraley now up for the Braves, and he grounds this one to Landry, who bobbles it. Woody Landry's had a really busy day defensively. He's had some good plays and some not good plays as well. Joel Miranda up now 1-2. Weak grounder. It's going to be a close play. Miranda's got some wheels. The throw from Germán is not in time. Infield single for Joel Miranda. And the Braves get a runner aboard here for Kyle Farmer. Miranda looks to steal second. He is safe, barely. Good throw by Fortes. And so Atlanta has a runner in scoring position, and there's going to be a pitching change. Germán has pitched well, but the Marlins trust Dylan Tate a little bit more in the clutch. Tate has one shutout inning so far in the playoffs, did not allow a base runner, but he's got a daunting task here with a runner on second. Full count for Kyle Farmer. He has 2 hits today. And Farmer's going to get a third. Single into center. Miranda waved home. The throw from Jazz is a good one, but it's not in time. RBI single for Kyle Farmer, and it's a 7-5 ball game. Ronald Acuna now rips it into right field. That one will stay in play for an extra base hit. Farmer holds up at third. He thought about going home, but wisely will retreat. So the Braves have 2 runners in scoring position. They can really put themselves in a good spot here. And it's Pete Alonso, who's 3 for 3 with 2 homers. Tate is scared to pitch to him, and I don't blame him. Alonso takes a walk, and the bases are loaded. Tate does not allow a single out, and he'll be yanked out of the game after 3 at-bats, replaced by Camilo Doval. Arguably the best pitcher in the Marlins bullpen as he faces off against Austin Riley, who goes down looking on the cutter. I suppose that could have gone worse. The Braves do get 1, but they also leave them loaded. Atlanta ahead by a pair as we go into the 8th. Alex Reyes is into the game for Atlanta. Reyes is a talented player, but the issue within his career has been game-to-game consistency, and the Marlins are certainly hoping they got him on an off day. Woody Landry draws a walk. Tough pitch to lay off, and the Marlins have the runner aboard with the tying run at the plate. That'll bring up Bo Bichette, who's been quiet today, 0 for 3. This would be a nice time to get a big hit, though. 2-2 count. Bichette swinging a miss on the fastball. And now that'll lead to a huge at-bat for Jesus Sanchez as the Braves make a pitching change. They're going to bring in their closer right now, Ryan Helsley, one of the best relievers in the game, 35 of 37 in save opportunities, 1.27 ERA, sub-1 whip. Big at-bat for Sanchez, who's had a good day at the plate, 2 for 3, goes down looking. Wow, big strikeout for Ryan Helsley, and it will remain a 2-run game as we go into the bottom of the 8th. We'll see if the Atlanta Braves can finish off the job as Ozzie Albies hits this one high and deep into the left field corner, and that one is gone. Sanchez cannot get to it quick enough as the Braves get their 4th homer of the game. That one barely scrapes over the fence, but it does. It's a homer nonetheless, and it's 8-5. Off of the Albies home run, Matt Olson draws a walk. Not a great start here to the 8th inning for Camilo Doval. Now Murphy grounds it to third. 5-4-3 double play. The Marlins needed that one. They cannot let this lead get any bigger. They're already going to need at least 3 in the next inning, which is obviously a lot easier said than done. Fraley down the line. Jacob Berry, backhanded throw. What a play! Jacob Berry showing off the leather at the hot corner, but Atlanta does add another run off of the homer by Ozzie Albies. Let's go into the 9th inning, see if the Braves can finish it off. Obviously, Ryan Helsley still in the game as he faces off against Jacob Berry. He goes down looking. That pitch looked like it was low, and there is a full count. I can't entirely blame him for laying off. So now it comes down to Yandy Diaz. The Marlins down to their final strike as Diaz hits this one well into center field, but it will be caught by Joel Miranda. The Marlins lose their first game of the 2026 postseason as they fall to the Atlanta Braves here in Game 1 of the NLDS by a score of 8-5. This was certainly an interesting game, I think, to put it lightly. The Braves' offense was really strong. 4 homers. Tarek Skubal did not pitch well. Our offense was fine. We didn't get a ton of base runners, only 6 hits. But when we got guys on, we did capitalize. We just did not get enough guys on to begin with. We need more overall consistency from the offense. Even if we went deep twice, we had 5 extra base hits, but only 1 single. Tarek Skubal was not good. The bullpen was they weren't good enough, obviously. Atlanta had the power on their side today. 2 homers for Alonso. Olsen and Albies going deep as well. Strider started off great, kind of tailed off towards the end, and then their bullpen was good down the stretch. So that brings us into a pivotal game 2. We cannot afford to lose this one. Yuri Perez will be on the mound making his postseason debut. Perez has obviously had his ups and downs throughout his big league career, and I'm not sure the Marlins are going to trust him with a full workload. Expect Perez to probably go 2 or 3 innings unless he pitches extraordinarily well, and I think we could see a lot of the bullpen today. Maybe this is a game where Max Meyer or Domingo Germán eat up a lot of innings. The Marlins cannot afford to go down 2-0. They would then have to win 3 in a row. So there's a lot on the line here for the Marlins. The Braves rocking their City Connect jerseys. Michael Harris getting the start. He did not play in Game 1. No Matt Olson, though, for Atlanta. Let's take a look at Kyle Wright, who was Atlanta's best pitcher this year, especially early in the season. The Marlins did play really well against Kyle Wright throughout this season, so I'm curious to see if that can hold up in the playoffs. Good start to the inning for Wright as he looks to retire the side, but Chisholm hits this one high and deep into center field. Harris at the track at the wall. This ball is gone! Solo homer for Jazz Chisholm, and the Marlins are on the board here in the top of the first inning. That, my friends, is how you set the tone. Jazz Chisholm homered in Game 1, and he homers now in Game 2. Big swing for Jazz Chisholm, and the Marlins are already on the board here in Game 2 in Atlanta. That'll bring up Woody Landry hitting a measly 111 in the playoffs, and that's going to go down to 100 as he swings in the dirt at the circle change. Not a bad start, though, off of the homer by Jazz Chisholm. Yuri Perez is starting for Miami. I accidentally skipped the cutscene with his numbers and whatnot. The ERA is not great. The whip is not great, but I feel like Yuri Perez really was not that bad this year. He struck out a lot of guys, and I feel like he just got unlucky in certain instances. However, that does not mean the Marlins entirely trust him, because they do not. He does strike out Zach Genton, though, and now he will look to make his way through the rest of the inning as he faces off against Ronald Acuna, who strikes out on the curveball. There's nothing Yuri Perez does better than make guys swing and miss. He's got nasty stuff, and he strikes out 2 here in the bottom of the first inning. Again, Perez's workload will largely be dependent on how he performs early as we go into the second. Nick Fortes leads things off. He has been quite good so far in the postseason. He does strike out on the slurve, however. Nice pitch by Kyle Wright. Jesus Sanchez up now, coming off a strong Game 1. Full count, take your base. He draws a walk on the inside slurve. The Marlins need to continue to set the tone. This short lead is not going to be enough against Atlanta's offense, especially without one of the Marlins' premier pitchers pitching today. Gavin Lux gets the start. He did not play in Game 1. He will draw a walk here, though. And so there's 2 on, 2 away for Yandy Diaz, who's got a really nice opportunity to make some noise. Diaz with a tough pitch to swing, and he hits it fairly well into center, but Michael Harris is there to make the play. So it's still 1-0. Not exactly a great start, though, for Kyle Wright as we move into the bottom of the second inning. Pete Alonso leads things off. He was unreal in Game 1. He hits this one into right field. De La Cruz chasing after it, and it is going to drop, bouncing over the fence for a ground rule double. The reason why that ball dropped was because of the shift. Austin Riley, though, strikes out on the curveball as Perez looks to make it out of this inning unharmed, but that might not happen as Ozzie Albies hits it well into center field. Alonso looking to score. Albies will make his way over to second. That could have been a flyout if Jazz Chisholm got to it quicker, but he went to it slowly, and because of that, it's a double for Ozzie Albies to tie it at 1. Mike Gonzalez, the former first-round pick just last year, strikes out. A high draft pick of Atlanta, already contributing in the bigs. Jake Fraley pops this one up behind the plate. Fortes makes the play, but the Braves do score. An RBI double from Ozzie Albies. We are knotted up at 1. Let's move into the third. Bo Bichette is up for the Marlins. 1-2. Rips it down into right field for a hit. That's Bo Bichette's first hit of the series against Atlanta. He thought about going 2. Get back! Okay, he's safe. That could have been kind of bad. So Bichette is aboard. That'll bring up the heart of the order, starting with Jazz Chisholm, who has homered in each of the first 2 games against Atlanta. Can we possibly get more out of him? Chisholm hits this one high and deep into left center field. Back at the track at the wall. It's caught. Along with Jazz Chisholm's 2 homers against Atlanta, he's had 2 that have made it to the end of the warning track. If the field was maybe 5 feet in, Jazz Chisholm has 4 homers against the Braves. Woody Landry is up now. He has struggled, as we know, so far in the playoffs. Lines at the third. Riley makes the play. Good inning for Kyle Wright as it remains tied at 1. Bottom 3. Sean Murphy leads it off. He's going to ground this one up the middle. Gavin Lux going to look to make the tough play, and he does. Good defense at second base by Gavin Lux for the first out of the inning. 2 away now for Zach Genton. He's going to hit this one into no man's land. Another somewhat tough play for Lux, and he'll make it. Overall, 3 pretty good innings for Yuri Perez. 1 run, 2 hits allowed. But with his workload, there's a good chance he will not return to the game. Nick Fortes strikes out on the slurve. Good pitch by Kyle Wright, his third strikeout of the game. Now against Bryan De La Cruz, he lines this one into right center, and it is caught. Kyle Wright started the game off slowly, but he has pitched a lot better over the last couple of innings. The Marlins will make a pitching change here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Maybe a little bit of a surprise with how Eury Perez was performing, but the Marlins don't fully trust him. They're hoping to get 2 to 3 innings out of Max Meyer, the former top 3 pick out of the University of Minnesota, as he strikes out Ronald Acuna as his first at-bat. Pete Alonso has reached base every at-bat so far until now. He strikes out on the circle change. Alonso with 4 hits and a walk in the first 2 games of the series. Riley over to third. Luis Arraez makes the play, and Max Meyer retires the side. Both offenses started the game off strong, but over the last couple of innings, it has not been so good. Into the 5th, Lux leads it off. He strikes out on the slurve. Good pitch by Kyle Wright for out number 1. That'll bring up Luis Arraez. Hasn't done a whole lot today, coming off a strong game 1 where he drove in a pair. And Arraez strikes out as well. Kyle Wright through 5, looking very, very strong. Let's move bottom 5 now. Let's see if Max Meyer can keep up his strong game as Gonzalez hits it into center, and that one is going to drop. Chisholm unable to make the play, and that'll be a double for Mike Gonzalez. The Braves have the runner in scoring position now as they look to take their first lead of the night. Jake Fraley goes down looking. That fastball was right down the middle. I do not know what he was waiting for. That was the perfect pitch to swing at. And now Sean Murphy hits this one well into left, but Jesus Sanchez is under it to make the play. We are continuing to have a pitching duel. I'm surprised in what is technically kind of like a bullpen game for the Marlins. The pitching's been fantastic. Eury Perez was great. Max Meyer looks great. Let's move into the 6th. Let's see if the offense can back these pitchers up for once. Jazz Chisholm draws a walk. He's been really the only guy on the offense to show up. But in the inverse, Jazz has not been very good defensively. Woody Landry grounds it to second. The Braves look to turn 2, and they cannot. The ball was dropped at short by Zach Genton as he tried to flip it over to first, and the inning stays alive. Can the Marlins take advantage of keeping the inning alive, as it's Nick Fortes? Hasn't done a whole lot today, 0 for 2. He grounds it up the middle. This one should be an easy out, but it's not! Zach Genton bobbles it again! This inning should be over, but instead, Genton has allowed 2 base runners himself. They're not going to call it an error. I think that's crazy. So Wright will be yanked out of the game because of that. He'll be replaced by Cole Phillips, who only pitched in 5 2/3 innings in the regular season, allowing 7 runs. He faces off against Jesus Sanchez, who grounds out to second, and the Braves do get out of the inning. The Marlins were gift-wrapped an opportunity to take the lead from shortstop Zach Genton, and they, well, failed. Into the bottom of the 6th. Going to be a tough play at first. Harris is safe with a broken bat infield single. Michael Harris can move, man. He's one of the fastest players in the game. Genton grounds it to first. Can the Marlins turn 2? They do. It has been a rough day in the office for Zach Genton, who has not played very well, to put it nicely. Acuna grounds it to short. What a play. Bo Bichette getting dirty. 3 scoreless innings for Max Meyer. His day likely done, but he pitched phenomenal in his playoff debut. Into the 7th inning, Bryan De La Cruz leads it off for the Marlins. He has been pretty blah in the postseason across the board, hence why he moved down in the lineup from 2 to 7 as he strikes out. Good pitch by Phillips. Yandy Diaz up now for the Marlins. Weak grounder over to short. Will Genton make the play this time? He does. So the Marlins still have not scored since the first inning. The offense is still not getting enough base runners on. As we go to the bottom of the 7th with Reynaldo Lopez coming into the game. He will strike out Pete Alonso, who goes down looking. Good start. Ozzie Albies now flies this one in the left. Going to be a tough play. Sanchez comes down with it. Jesus Sanchez has been very impressive defensively within these 2 games as the game remains tied at 1. Is anybody going to score? We have not had runs since the 2nd inning. 1-2 for Luis Arraez. Ooh, they called that a ball. Very clearly a strike. Luis Arraez being thrown a bone, and he will take advantage with a base hit to start the 8th. Man, that is a big deal for the Miami Marlins. All they got to do is just capitalize once with the way this pitching has been. Luis Arraez will be replaced by pinch runner Esteury Ruiz. The Marlins really feel like this is their opportunity to score. Ruiz looks to steal second. He is safe. Bo Bichette does strike out. But now we've got one of the fastest players in the game in scoring position, and the Marlins' best hitters are due up. It starts with Jazz Chisholm. That's another tough pitch to lay off, but he does. Again, arguably could have been a strike. The umpire is really trying to help out the Marlins here as Chisholm strikes out. Woody Landry will then be intentionally walked, so he is aboard. They're going to have Nick Fortes come up to the plate now with runners on, 2 away, full count, and he hits this one skied into center. Doesn't hit it overly far. Harris charging in, he makes the play. That really felt like the Marlins had a great opportunity to do some damage, and they failed. Bottom 8, the lefty Adonis Takadopoulos is into the game. Sub-3 ERA, although he only pitched in 24 innings, which feels oddly low. Kyle Farmer strikes out on the curveball to get things started. Sean Murphy now strikes out as well. Good inning for Takadopoulos. He strikes out 2. Pretty easy. Let's go to the 9th. Same score. Cole Phillips still in the game. This guy had an ERA of 11 in the regular season, yet he is shoving against this Marlins lineup. With 1 away, De La Cruz hits this one into right center. That's going to go for extra bases. Finally, a big play offensively from Brian De La Cruz, who is in scoring position. Oh boy, do the Marlins have another opportunity to come up big. So that will bring up Yandy Diaz with 2 away, 1-2. Pops it up behind the plate. Sean Murphy under it. He'll make the play. The Marlins have not scored since the first inning, and you think that's enough to lose, but the pitching has been so good, keeping them in the game. The lefty A.J. Puck out of the bullpen here for the bottom of the 9th. He has to face off against the top of the order. Harris singles in to left, and the Atlanta Braves had the winning run aboard with nobody out. Said winning run is really fast, and they've got a good group of hitters up. That starts with Zach Jenton, who strikes out. Acuna draws a walk, which in the grand scheme of things is pretty meaningless because, well, Atlanta only needs 1 run. But Puck is going to be taken out of the game for Camilo Doval. The Marlins trust Doval a lot more to get out of this inning as he strikes out Pete Alonso. That's a big one, but he still has got to get Austin Riley, the 3-2. Grounder to second. Lux should make the play, and he will. Both offenses have laid up a stinker. 1-1 with 5 hits each through 9 innings. We do not have a winner, and we are going into the 10th. That'll start with Esteury Ruiz. His first career postseason at bat. He's going to look to lay down the drag bunt. Austin Riley, what a play! Barehanded throw from Riley to get the out. Incredible defense. Bo Bichette is now up. Hanging pitch. Lines it to third. Another great defensive play by Austin Riley. We'll see if Cole Phillips, who has been in the game for like 5 innings at this point, can get Chisholm, and he does. Chisholm strikes out on the high fastball. The Marlins do nothing here in the top of the 10th, and we'll go to the bottom half of the inning. You may notice here in the playoffs, the extra innings rule does not apply. There's no runner starting on second, as Ozzie Albies strikes out. 2 away for Joel Miranda. He does as well. Camilo Doval faces off against 5 batters, and he struck out 4. Not too bad. So we're still tied at 1, going into the 11th. Cole Phillips is still in. He's still dominating as Jesus Sanchez flies this one into center, and it's caught by Harris. Another nothing burger for the Miami offense. Into the bottom of the 11th now, the closer, Devin Williams, is into the game. He got the save in each of Miami's wins against the Dodgers. Not a save opportunity, but we'll see if he can get Miami out of the inning, and he does. Williams retires beside. We still have not had anybody score since the 2nd inning, and we are now in inning number 12. Chris Flexen is into the game for Atlanta, replacing Cole Phillips, who was phenomenal. He'll start with a strikeout against Brian De La Cruz. That'll bring up Austin Wells, coming in off the bench as a pinch hitter. His first career postseason at bat is a well-hit single into center. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that is the first hit of the extra innings, and we are in the 12th. That'll bring up Yandy Diaz now, the 2-2, strikeout on the slider. And so that'll bring us back to the top of the order. Again, no more Luis Ariz, though. It's Esteury Ruiz who raced down another drag bunt. This time, it's going to go for a hit. Good job by Esteury Ruiz to reach base, and there's 2 runners aboard, and a huge opportunity for Bo Bichette, who gets a pitch to hit, and he crushes it into left center field. 1 hop off the wall, 1 run scores. Ruiz has the speed to score himself, and he is safe. A 2-run double for Bo Bichette. Offense! How much I have missed you. The Marlins have not scored since the first inning. Neither team has scored since the second inning. And it's now 3-1. Dylan Lee, the lefty, coming out of the bullpen. A little lefty-on-lefty crime. As it will be Jazz Chisholm, who homered all the way back in the first inning. Up the middle with a base hit. Bo Bichette should be able to score. The Marlins with another run as he is safe, barely. Good throw by Michael Harris. And so it is a 4-1 ball game. Finally, the offense has made some plays. Woody Landry now up. He strikes out on the slider. Big inning, though, for the Marlins. They drive in 3. They have the lead, but now it's time to finish off the game. Devin Williams will stay on the mound for the Marlins. The only actual full-time reliever they have left in the bullpen is Dylan Tate. Pete Alonso strikes out. He does not agree with the call. Braves down to their final out, make it their final strike. It's Austin Riley. Count is 2-2. Pitch from Devin Williams. Swing and a miss on the screwball. 4-1 your final. The Marlins take one in Atlanta as they win it in 12. What a game this was. Both offenses were not good. Between the second and 12th inning, we had no runs. But the Marlins came up big late with a couple big hits by Austin Wells and Esteury Ruiz. Who would have guessed? Coming off the bench. Bo Bichette drives in 2. Jazz Chisholm drives in another, along with the homer he had back in the first inning. The offense still did not do enough, though. The reason why the Marlins won this game was absolutely the pitching. Yuri Perez, postseason debut. He was really good. Max Meyer, postseason debut. He was really good. And then after the 6th inning, the Marlins allowed 2 base runners in the final 6 innings of the game. Atlanta's offense, which is normally so good, was terrible. Acuna 0 for 4. Alonso 1 for 5. Albies 1 for 4. Riley 0 for 5. The big guys did not come up big. Kyle Wright was pretty good, though, and then Cole Phillips out of the bullpen was unbelievable. But Chris Flexen in the 12th, he blew it. So we tie it at 1. We take 1 on the road. I would count that as a success. And now we've got 2 at home with our 2 best pitchers, Edward Cabrera and Sandy Alcantara on the mound. Can the Marlins finish up the series against Atlanta? Could Atlanta finish up the series against Miami? Or could we be headed for a Game 5? Find out in the next episode. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.